All right, Shabbat Shalom, Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Shalom.
And before we get started, we'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to where it's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rachak Wadas. Yahweh being the true name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly and incorrectly calls God. Ba'ashem in the name, Yahushua, the name of the only begotten Son, our Lord and Savior, who the world ignorantly and incorrectly calls Jesus Christ. Ba'ashem in the name, Rachak Wadas, the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and who taught us this truth. And peace, blessings, love, and salutations to those for elect scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. May the blessing of election fall upon you and your household. To you we say Shabbat Shalom, Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Shalom.
Today, this is the branch of the Kentucky Hebrew Israelite Church coming back to you today with another Shabbat lesson. Shabbat sit down. All through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shemi Shabbat Shem Chak Wadash. And in today's Shabbat lesson, as you see the title, we're going to, through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shemi Shah, get through the rest of this Revelation 8 breakdown. And, Lord willing to be edifying. And, the other parts, the other parts to the breakdown will be on the main camp page, which I will put a link in the description box below, and as well as the other the Revelations 1 through 7 that we have been breaking down all through Spirit Power by Shemshai, also on our main camp page, which I'll link down below. So if you ain't got anything, brother, I just get right into it.
We can get right into it.
All right. So this is Revelation 8 verse 10. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters.
You can keep going, bro.
Come on, Revelation 8:11. And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter.
All right. Hey, bro, get that word for wormwood. I can't remember if there was something there to bring out or not. So let's pull that up, Abu Kushah. And while the brother's doing that, the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp. Yeah, and that's getting into the missiles again, man. Hey, this is all about the missiles, The let's see here, the first angel, the second angel, the third angel, missiles. Okay, all metaphors for the missiles. With the first angel in verse 7, followed hail and fire mingled with blood, missiles, man. Okay, and then verse 8, the second angel sounded, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, missiles. Okay, the third part of the creatures which were in the sea. Okay, verse 10, which is where we're at, a great star from heaven burning as it were a lamp, the missiles, man. What you got there on that wormwood? Okay, they don't have anything, huh?
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, that wormwood, man. This is going into well, where were we? Yeah, man. This is going into contamination, man. Okay, hey, a nuclear contamination, because World War III is going to be a nuclear war, man. Matter of fact, it's going to be a tremendous number of nuclear missiles fired off, man. A tremendous number. Okay, and according to the scriptures, the countries that are all Confederate, the countries that are all was to say, I've heard a rumor from Yahweh, an ambassador sent among the heathen. Let us rise up against her referring to Babylon the Great. Okay, better known as masquerading around under its alias of America. Babylon the Great, better known as America. But that's not its true name. Its true name is Babylon the Great. Biblical name, biblically speaking, this place is Babylon the Great. Does it have any other biblical names? Yeah, spiritually Sodom, and spiritually Egypt. This is spiritual Sodom, this is spiritual Egypt, right? And they're all going to rise up against her in battle. And the scripture says, shoot at her, spare no arrows. shoot at her, spare no arrows. So they're going to shoot all their missiles, their ICBMs and their missiles over here, right? Okay, 200 million nuclear detonations. You know, whether it's 200 million missiles itself, or whether it's 200 million warheads. Each of those warheads can destroy a major city, man. I, through the Spirit, think it's more likely 200 million warheads, because each one of those warheads can destroy any city. You know, pick the biggest city. What's the biggest city? I don't know, but your big cities like your New York and your Dallas, you know, your San Francisco, your LA, you know, your Las Vegases, you know, your Phillies, your whatever other big cities, your Charlottes, you know, all these big cities we have here, and it's not that many big cities, you know. Then you get to your more medium-sized cities, and then you get into your small cities, okay, and then you get into your towns, and you get into your podunks, you know. You round all of them up together, and it's like 20-some thousand cities, towns, you know, etc. It's going to be 200 million nuclear detonations, 200 million, most likely warheads detonating here. Each one of those warheads can destroy any of those cities. Okay, so it's going to be and then Babylon's going to shoot hers as well, which Babylon has either the first or the second largest. You know, who knows how many weapons these nations got, because these nations aren't going to tell you how many weapons, how many ICBMs they got. They ain't going to tell you their full nuclear arsenal nor the capability. They're not going to put that information out there. All right. So, you know, but however many Babylon has, Babylon's is going to shoot his out too as well. But Babylon's going to be shooting and splitting it out amongst all its enemies. So Babylon's going to be shooting a portion over here, portion over there, portion over there, portion over there, portion over there, portion over here. But all of the enemies are shooting here. So there's going to be a tremendous amount of contamination released into the world. And that's going to cause air radiation. It's going to contaminate the air. It's going to contaminate the soil, and it's going to contaminate the water. It's going to contaminate the animal life. It's going to be tremendous amount of radiation and contamination released, and it's going to affect the water. Okay, it's going to affect the water. Okay, and what's it say? And it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of the waters. And the name of the star is called wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood. And many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. Now it isn't that. Oh yeah, get that word for bitter, because that's where I think there's something there.
Yeah, I got a precept real quick.
All right, go ahead with your precept.
Jeremiah 50 and 29. Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about, let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she hath done, do unto her. For she hath been proud against the Lord Yahweh, against the Holy One of Israel.
Yeah, beautiful, man. So this place is getting ready to be destroyed, man. And other places where, we read it earlier, I think it was last lesson, anywhere where Esau Edom is going to be hit with this nuclear destruction. It's just that these other locations, like in Europe, Australia, South Africa, Gog and Magog, those places aren't going to be completely destroyed like Babylon's going to be completely destroyed. But they're going to catch some destruction. There's going to be some ICBMs hitting over there too. Like I said, each one of these warheads can destroy, the biggest city, right? So, yeah, you get that word for bitter, Baba Kushal?
This is the word bitter in the blue letter.
Strong's G 4087, Pekrino.
And it says to make bitter, to produce a bitter taste in the stomach. Irritated, to be embittered. About it.
Yeah, and this is another one of those places where Esau Edom isn't getting it. Okay. I mean, if you dug through the lexicon, you might find where it gets into it a little bit, but we don't need to take the time to do that. It's getting into contaminated, man. That's what that's talking about. Contamination from all this radiation that's going to be released. Okay, contaminated. That's what it's talking about. So so this contaminated water, men are going to be drinking this contaminated water, and they're going to die. Because radiation most people should, like your phones, man. The World Health Organization, a couple years back, handful of years back, classified cell phones as carcinogens, which a carcinogen is a cancer-causing agent. Yeah, that's why it's not a good idea to go around with your cell phone stuck to your head. Women be putting it in their bra right up next to their breasts, you know, putting it in your back pocket. You know, it's just not a good idea. I mean, you know, you do what you do, but you know, they knew the cell phone was a carcinogen when they put it out, when they came up with this technology, man. They knew it was a carcinogen then, but they wanted to wait till everybody got hooked on it, and then by the way, you know, it's a carcinogen, right? But the point I'm bringing that up is because you can't feel radiation, man. It ain't like you can feel it, be like, oh, I'm getting hit with radiation. You can't feel it. All right. It's in you breathe in radiation in the air because the air is contaminated. You can't feel it. You can't be like, I smell radiation. You can't smell it. Okay. You drink water that's contaminated water. Well, if it has some other contaminants in it that you can taste and see, well, then that'll clue you in. Maybe I don't want to drink this water. But if it's just contaminated with radiation, you're not going to taste that. So people are going to be drinking this radiated water, this contaminated water, and going to be dying because it's going to be getting in their body and fucking shit up. You know? Yep. And so that's what this is talking about. Go ahead, bro.
Con, it says this is the EPA saying like the effects on drinking contaminated water, effects on the human health. It says if drinking water contains unsafe levels of contaminants, it can cause health effects such as gastrointestinal illnesses, nervous system or reproductive effects, and chronic diseases such as cancer. Factors that can influence whether a contaminant will lead to health effects include the type of contaminant, its concentration in the water, individual's susceptibility, the amount of water consumed, and the duration of exposure.
Yeah, I mean, the greater the amount of radiation in the water, the less you have to drink for it to have an effect on you. Okay, and the more of it you drink, the more of an effect it's going to have on you. A lot of these contaminants will bioaccumulate in the body and just stay in your body. And depending on the half-life, it can stay in your body a long time. So depending on how much you drink, man, yeah, you know, so it can have a mild effect all the way up to death. Yep. Yeah, and what's it say here? And many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. That isn't talking about literally bitter. Bitter stuff is good for you. Yeah, you have bitter melons, you have bitter herbs, you have, you know, things that are sour. These things can tend to be good for you. This isn't talking about that. This is talking about contaminated with radiation. See?
This next paragraph says health effects of chemical exposure. Chemical exposure through drinking water can lead to a variety of short and long-term health effects. Exposure to high doses of chemicals can lead to skin discoloration or more severe problems such as nervous system or organ damage and developmental or reproductive effects. Exposure to a lower dose over long periods of time can lead to chronic, longer-term conditions such as cancer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is biblical prophecy here, man. This is going to go down, you know, as a result of these ICBMs being shot off, man.
That's it. This is Revelation 8:12. And the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise.
Yeah, go ahead with with 13 as well.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you got. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Do what you do what you want to do.
This is Zephaniah 1 and verse 14, and it reads, "The great day of the Lord Yahweh Shemeshai is near; it is near, and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord Yahweh Shemeshai, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly." Verse 15, "That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers.
That's
So,
it, man. Go ahead, bro. You got it. Go ahead.
So I was just gonna say, like it has said, the third part of the moon was smitten, and that they was darkened. The only what's gonna make them dark, man, is when the nuclear detonations hit over in America. You're not gonna be able to look up and see the moon and the stars and because the smoke is just gonna cover everything, man. It's gonna be dark and like it said.
Right. And again, that third part, man, going into Esau Edom, man, this nuclear destruction is not going to be everywhere on the earth.
Right.
Okay. It's going to be anywhere where Esau Edom is. Okay. And here in Babylon is going to be complete and total destruction. And going right along with that, I see you getting ready to pull another precept, bro. Right before you get that, I'm going to get this Amos chapter 5, verses 18 through 20. Tying right into the precept the brother just brought out, which is woe unto you, meaning great destruction, death, destruction, and mayhem. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, right? And this is getting into anybody who calls themselves looking for the return of quote unquote Jesus, the day of the Lord, referring to quote unquote God, whether you be of the wacky techie so-called Christian variety, and even more so, I say even more so, even to a greater degree, if you've been, okay, hold up, that's a fitting name for it. I just had a alert come up for Elders in Transit 3, and it called that stab and jab Beetlejuice. That's a good name for it, Beetlejuice. But anyway, especially y'all who are calling yourselves looking for the day of the Lord, and you of the circumcision, which is those Israelites who know that they're Israelites and that we're supposed to be keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes to the best of our ability, as opposed to those of you who are of the uncircumcision, Israelites who don't know that they're Israelites or don't accept that they're Israelites. See, so that's what the scripture's talking about when it's talking about circumcision and uncircumcision. And it ain't talking about no natural born heathens that have Abraham, Isaac, and or Abraham, Isaac, and anybody other than Jacob as their forefather. They ain't talking about no natural born heathens. It's talking about all Israelites. Circumcision and uncircumcision are Israelites. It's just those Israelites that know and are following as best they can, and those Israelites that don't know and therefore aren't following, or know but they don't accept it. Okay, that's your circumcision and your uncircumcision. See, and so those that are of the circumcision who are not teaching the right doctrine, who are speaking evil of the way of truth, okay, this is for you. Okay, whether you be of the whether you be of the circumcision or whether you be of the uncircumcision, or whether whether you wacky techie so-called Christian, whether you Islam, or calling yourself a Muslim, or whether you're calling yourself an atheist, the fool hath said in his heart that there is no power. See, there is no power. That's what the fool had said, right? So this is for you. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord, Yahweh, B'Shem Yahushua. To what end is it for you? The day of Yahweh is darkness. We just read that. We read it over here in Revelation, and the brother got the precept. What was that, Zephaniah?
Zephaniah 1:14.
Right. Okay. The day of Yahweh is darkness and not light. Okay. As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, there won't be any escaping the judgment that the Most High has for you. Okay. Right. Or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. Listen to this. Shall not the day of Yahweh be darkness? Okay. And not light. That sounds familiar. We just read it. Verse 18. It's in verse 20. Even very dark. That even is for emphasis. Okay, it's for emphasis. Even very dark, and no, meaning none, zip, zero, zilch, no brightness in it. And this is a rhetorical question, and the answer is obvious. Yep, that's exactly what the day of Yahweh Shema shall be. Okay, 1044. I call the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah. Go ahead.
This is Isaiah 66 verse 15. For behold, the Lord Yahushua will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord Yahushua plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord Yahweh shall be many.
Mm-hmm. And how about Shemashah says, my sword shall be bathed in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, go ahead, bro.
It's Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem, and have not Esau, Edom, the so-called white people, have they not fought against Jerusalem, putting us in slavery, putting us in captivity, making us go through hard bondage, hard punishments? It says, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. And what can do that, man? What, if you really think about it, there's only really one thing that can really make your flesh consume away while you're standing there looking, just standing there while you're going about your day, going about your daily business. There's only one thing that can really make your flesh just consume away, just melt off your bones. And then it says, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, man. You see this in movies. You see that there's plenty of movies out there that show you what can do this, man. Because these movies they get it from the scriptures, man. They don't just, ooh, it's a coincidence, or it's not gonna happen, but they get it from the scriptures, man. Because they know what is to come, man. It's, the only thing that can do this is these ICBM missiles, man. And that's 200 million, or 200,000, which is 200 million, which is going to hit over in America. What's it called? In Revelation 9.
Yeah, art imitates life, man.
Mm-hmm.
Art imitates life. And then the other thing, keep in mind, is fact is stranger than fiction.
Yep.
Fact is stranger than fiction. And one of the best movies to see a depiction of this is the Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Okay. And if I remember correctly, and if I got my facts correct, which I do believe I do, the director for that movie had a vision. It was a dream. He didn't just come up with that on his own. He had a dream or a vision where he saw that scene. He saw something similar to that scene that he put in the movie with Sarah Connor holding onto the fence, which in the movie, he had it depicted that she had a dream, and in her dream, she woke up and she was at a playground, and there was a city, off in the distance, because they were kind of like on the outskirts of the city. And so the center of the city, the downtown with all the big buildings and everything, was just a little off in the distance. You could see it, kind of like the skyline. You could see it because they were on the outskirts of the city. And then she for some reason, she's drawn towards the fence. There's a fence around the playground, and children are playing, doing the little things and everything. She's drawn to the fence, and as she's drawn to the fence, she puts her hands up on it, and she sees what? A nuclear detonation. A mushroom cloud.
Yeah.
Which that's what the scriptures describes, or the scriptures put a mushroom cloud this way: the heavens being rolled back as a scroll. That's talking about that mushroom cloud, man. And so she saw that, and what happened? Just what the brother read in Zechariah 14:12. Her eyes consumed away in her sockets, the tongue consumed away in her mouth, and they took it a little further than that. They had her, explode and all that. But that's where he got. That comes from the scriptures, man. And he had a dream. The Most High gave him a dream. Most High. What's it say in Joel? Thy young man shall dream dreams. And you might as well get that real quick, bro. You pull that up, that precept in Joel where and that's how about Shemashah says he's gonna pour out his spirit on all flesh. That's even heathens, even heathens, and even those people that's not in the truth. Another one that's seeing a lot of visions like that, a lot of visions about destruction and aliens, which are the chariots of the Most High. Chariot means vehicle, and the angelic hosts and all that invading Earth and great destruction and mayhem is Carrie Hilson, isn't that her name? Carrie Hilson, the real popular, Israelite woman who she's a singer. She ain't doing nothing right now, but she's real popular. She has some nice songs. She has some nice songs, and she's on the record. You can see her on YouTube talking about how she had these dreams at least like once a year, once or twice a year. She'll have a dream, and it's usually the same or very similar, and it's great destruction and mayhem. I mean, just like cats and dogs living together.
She's the one with the brother in the truth, ain't she?
Right, one of the brothers, and I forget which camp it is, but one of the brothers, that's his sister.
Mm-hmm.
And right, and far as I know, she hasn't been in the truth, but she might be coming into the truth. Who knows? But see, that just shows you how cold the Most High is, because the Most High can give you those dreams and visions, and then keep the spirit on you not to come into the truth, so that you can get delivered from it.
Right.
That's why you got to fear the Most High. You can go with it when you got it, bro.
Joel 2:28. And it's like on the pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean that you said sons and daughters, and that doesn't mean that a woman can prophesy in the way that a man. It just means that the woman's going to say, this is what I dreamed. She's going to tell her husband, or she's going to tell a brother. And then her husband or her brother will bring that to the congregation as he fits and break it down. It doesn't mean she's going to prophesy like a man prophesies. Now, they just, if the Most High gives that woman a vision and she says what her vision is, and it's a true vision, well, then she prophesied in the sense that she spoke something before it happened. But it doesn't mean that she's like a prophetess, like a man is a prophetess, like a man is a prophet. Okay, no. Women aren't called to go out on the highways and hedges. Women are called to, I will that the younger women marry, bear children, and guide the house. That's what a woman's supposed to do. But that's just so belittling. I'm losing myself. I feel trapped. You know what you do is you feel crazy. Because if you was in your right mind, you would embrace that and love that, because that's what you made to do. What the fuck does a car looking like feeling trapped because it has to stay on the road? What the fuck does a boat look like feeling like it's being oppressed because it has to stay in the water? I want to fucking get on the road, the boat says. I want to fucking go on the water, the car says. No, that's a dumbass boat and a dumbass car. Okay? So, and that's confusion. A woman wanting to do what a man does and be what a man is, that's confusion, and it's stupid. Okay? And a man wanting to do what a woman does and be what a woman does, that's confusion, and that's stupid. All right? Okay? Made them male and female. So a woman who embraces those things that the scripture says, which that verse comes from the book of 1st or 2nd Timothy, we don't have to get it, but it might be, I forget, it might be one of the Corinthians, but a woman who embraces that is a woman who's in her right mind, so but a woman is not going to prophesy like a man does. A woman who's a prophetess is going to be a woman may prophesy in song. She may sing a song. She may have a vision and tell it to her husband, or if she doesn't have a husband, tell it to her father, or if neither of her husbands, she may tell it to one of the brothers in the congregation. But that man is going to decide what to do with it, and he's going to break it down. Or a woman who's a prophetess can also be called a prophetess because she's married to a prophet. A woman who's married to a prophet can be called a prophetess because she's the wife of a prophet. See, that's what it means. But it does not in any way mean for a woman to be on a level of a male prophet, doing what a male prophet does. No, it's not. No, not at all. You're not going to find that in the scriptures. And people like to bring up like examples like Deborah, but Deborah was under the order of Barak. Okay. All right. So no. And that was also to shame the men, because the men weren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. All right. The Most High was embarrassing the men, basically. But even with that, she was still had some measure of order. She was, if it wasn't for Barak, she wouldn't have got anywhere. Okay. She was still under a man in that regard. See, so people get, you're going to take one example, take it out of context, totally misunderstanding it, but you're going to run with that, take that one example, taken out of context, totally misunderstood. You're going to run with that one and override all the clear examples and clear demonstrations and clear the numerous clear scriptures that make it clear what the role of a woman is. You're going to override all that for one misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
That's not walking in wisdom. But getting back to what we're saying, what were we saying, bro? The spirit just got me off on that.
Going into the missiles, and then you was talking about Terminator 2.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she was giving the director, I think he was given that vision, man. And Carrie Hilson. Carrie Hilson, yeah, she has those visions. The water for bringing that back to me, bro. She has those visions. I saw an interview where she was saying you can see she shook over it. She says she has it like every year, once or twice a year or something like that, every year. And a lot of times it'll be the same. This is what the brother just read in Joel. What was it, 2:28?
Yep.
Yeah, you still got it, bro?
I'll pull it up.
Yeah, hit it one more time and we'll move on.
This is Joel 2 and verse 28. And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions.
Right. And that's what you got going on today. A lot of heathens, a lot of Israelites, both in the truth and out of the truth, are having dreams and having visions. It's happening a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. Okay. Go ahead, bro.
Revelation 8 and 13. And I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, 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 to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the three angels, which are yet to sound.
Yeah, man. It's just that time we in, man. This is the time we in. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Great destruction, death, suffering, misery, mayhem. Okay.
Yep.
We got precept for 13.
No, unless you will bring one out.
Yeah. In Second Ezra, where it talks about great death, man. Hey, because that's the time we in. That's what we're coming into, man. Hey, but the good news is, right on the other side is the kingdom, man, and salvation, man, for the elect. Okay. And bro, you get that. I'm gonna get this in Wisdom of Solomon 5. And then we can wrap it up.
You want me to get mine first? Or you
Yeah,
got
good. Go ahead.
This is Second Ezra 16 and verse 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the time we're coming into, man. Okay, but the good news is that the kingdom is right on the other side. Let's see here. Yeah, here you go. Wisdom of Solomon 5, verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. The righteous man is starting off first and foremost with the elect of Yasharallah. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then ultimately on a lower level, to a lesser degree, all Israel is righteous, right? Because we are created to be a righteous people. It's just that a large number, or the great majority of our people, are off doing wickedly right now. Okay. But like it says, all Israel shall be saved. For out of Zion shall come forth the deliverer and turn forth ungodliness from Jacob. That includes those Israelites who are off doing wicked right now, which is the majority, the vast majority of our people. But ungodliness is going to be turned away from them. Okay, because they're not created to be wicked. They're created to be the righteous. And they are the righteous. They're just corrupted right now in that sense, right? So the righteous man is talking about the Israelites, but it's specifically referring to in this passage the elect Israelite man, okay, because it's about the men, okay. The women are heirs of the grace of life, but it's there by extension. If there was no elect Israelite men, the nation be through. Okay, if it was just, the Most High wouldn't do this, right? Most High can do whatever he want, but this is not the way he would do it. Well, it was just elect Israelite women, and that was going to be enough. We're going to bring the nation through. You can't. Hey man, if the men are done, the nation's done.
Yep.
If you had all the Israelite women make it, get through this, and you had all the Israelite men, put to death, the nation is done, because those Israelite women can never bring forth the nation. All right. Those Israelite women, if they lay with another man who's of the other nations, because all the Israelite men are done, they're going to bring forth heathens, because the child is what the father is. You have one Israelite man make it, you bring the whole nation back. And that's why Yahweh Shema Shai, after he brought the Israelites out of the land of Egypt, he was like, I'm going to put them all to death because they was doing wickedly. All the Israelites, he's like, I'm going to put them all to death. And Moses, I'm a start over with you, one man, right? Because you got one Israelite man make it. You got a root, you got a branch. You're going to be able to bring the whole nation back, as long as you got that one man.
Yep.
Okay, you can have 100 billion women, and your nation is through. Okay, so then shall the righteous man, and that's literal man, stand in great boldness before the face of such have afflicted him. That's Esau, Edom. Okay, the wicked. Okay, going around calling himself white people today, right? And made no account of his labors. Yeah, they didn't pay us anything. They threw us, they gave us the materials to build us a little busted up shack, just enough to kind of keep us barely warm enough to survive in the winter, and fuck cooling in the summer. Who gives a fuck about that? Open the windows, but just enough to barely keep you. Here's some rags, throw it on yourself, and here's some pig slop. Here's some intestines, some pig intestines. Okay, get something to eat. See, and pay. What's pay? Pay for what? Okay, see, make no account of the labors. Oh, and not even that, and then don't give no credit. No credit. Okay, no recognition for the fact that the Israelite man, starting first and foremost with the so-called black man here in Babylon, which that's the southern kingdom, built this place. Okay, built up America. No credit, no account of his labors, right? And when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. Okay, and shall be amazed at the strangeness. Okay, the amazingness, if that's a word, amazingness. The strangeness of his salvation. This is what we had to look forward to. Yeah, great death, suffering, misery, mayhem, and destruction, and great death is coming. But we also can look forward to. This salvation, which is going to be absolutely amazing, absolutely out of this world, absolutely beyond anything that you can imagine. We believe these scriptures, we're reading these scriptures, but we, the prophets of Yahweh Shema Shai, we be among that number, and I pray we are. We still have no idea. We're going to be blown away when we see it. Blown away. It ain't going to be like, yep, that's exactly what I thought it was going to be like. No, it's going to be like beyond what we imagine, right? Okay? Shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for. Okay, unimaginable. I thought it was going to be amazing, but I had no idea, just how amazing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We can stop there. I mean, this is a power pack chapter, but we can stop there. Yeah, that's all I had. You
that was the last verse.
All right, so Yahweh Azah, this breakdown of Revelation chapter 8 was edifying to you. And next time, whether it be camp or whether it be next Shabbat lesson or the next Earliest opportunity, we're going to go ahead and break into Revelation chapter 9, which my memory serves me correctly, gets into World War I, the first great woe. Okay, and you got to understand that the book of Revelation is not written sequentially, man. Okay, it's written to be a stumbling block, and it's written to be it's written in a manner such that if you don't have the Spirit leading you, you're not going to get it, man. It's so many twists and turns and jumps and go back and go forward and jump back and forward. You know, I jumped back and then went forward in time, and then, you know, it's written that way on purpose. But, you know, the Most High wrote it that way on purpose so that nobody can get it except those that had the Spirit. So that's you know, so we're going to get into, you know, Revelation chapter 9, I believe, if my memory serves correctly, gets into World War I. And we'll get into that the next possible earliest opportunity. Yahweh is our subject to the Spirit, the leading of the Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and so with that, we're going to go ahead and give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh,
Hashem,
Yahweh,
Hashem, Archa, Wadah.
double honors to the apostle, owes the great millstone. Much peace, love, respect to the brothers, teaching, pushing the truth out four corners of the earth. Out of one, Radazad, this Shabbat sit down was edifying and encouraging to you, Akim, and any Akwaf that may be listening and or watching, because once again, whether you're talking about a single sister or whether you're talking about more than one sister, plural sisters, it's Akwaf. Okay, so I didn't know that until Elder Apostle Ramla brought that up. Akwaf is the same whether it's singular or plural. So Yahweh Razah, this is edifying to the Akyam, okay, wa Akwaf that may be listening and or watching. Ayashma Yakwana Ajang Lashama Shamai. Let him who has ears to hear. Kwam Yasharala,
Kwam Yashala,
Baba Kusha,
Bakusha,
Baba Ba Aitha,
Ababa Ba'atah,
Wakal Adawam.
Kardawam,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom,
Shalom.
Shalom.